Welcome to Hashtag Narrative, a Football Manager podcast where we sit around the virtual campfire and recant stories from past saves. We don't have Kev today, but we have a much better replacement who can be doing the co-presenting and the guest role, if he doesn't mind. It is the one and the only DoctorBenjy. Hello, Ben.
All right, how are you? I like the fact I've been given two roles on the first appearance.
Yeah, well, you've been on the channel before, so it's okay.
I have. We've done chats about Football Manager, to which I don't think they listened to or cared about. But
they might have. It might be my highest viewed video on my channel ever. So
time will tell. The officers of SI were clued in. They were loving it. So yeah, it's good to be back. Yes, I like it here. It's snug.
Oh, snug.
I don't know why I described it as snug. That makes it sound a little bit too homely in many ways.
Pockety and warm and moist. Maybe I've gone too far.
I've gone too far. Let's move on.
Okay, How are you anyway?
I'm very well. Yes, I've had an exciting 2017 so far. 2016 for everyone was a bit, wasn't it? But yeah, so far so good. Enjoying 2017. Hopefully, exciting things to come. So, including this chat right now, listeners.
I'm pumped for it.
Good. I mean, hopefully, if you weren't, I'm disappointed by the beginning of this.
I don't really want Ben, but we'll have him because,
I mean, you've had Work the Space, so I am basically, the car boot version. So I've been described as that many times before. I'm the car boot, Work the Space. So if you love Jack stuff, then you can have me on discount. That's what I'm getting at. Second hand. So yeah, here I am. Did you like having Jack on?
Jack's a good laugh, isn't he?
He just says some mental things. Yeah, he's a lunatic. Yeah, he's a problem.
Maverick, I think, is probably an appropriate.
Let's kick things. Yeah, Maverick. I'll kick things off with a story about Jack. I recently met up with Jack in Lincoln because I've got sort of family there and he's got family there, and we went. Me and my girlfriend to come out for a pizza, and in Lincoln there's a train line that runs straight through Lincoln that goes straight through the town centre. So if you want to get around the town centre, you have to cross this train line. Now, they've spent £1 million on a bridge that goes over this train line, but me and Jack stood waiting for the barrier to go up for 4 trains. So much so that one train went left and then about 50 minutes later came right. The bridge over would have taken 2 minutes. But there was a point where I go, it's got to be now. It's got to be now. And then another train goes by and you think, we've been here. At 10 minutes you're thinking, we've been here too long. We've committed to standing here.
Pot committed, that's the word. It's literally like you've put too much money in now and you can't pull it out.
Yeah, the river had come out and I was thinking, do we go now? And then eventually it goes up and we were delighted. And then about 2 minutes later, straight back down again. I'm thinking, flipping heck. Thank goodness we went. So that's the story of me and Jack waiting at a train stop thing for 15 minutes. Quite literally, I think about that. That's a long time to be stood anywhere. That's
for busy people. That's a lot of time to waste.
Like, we were just meandering around Lincoln, and then we went to Toys R Us. So we ended the day with a bang. At 26 years of age, walking around the mini scooters, thinking I'll break all of these if I get on them. So
I was there's probably questionable wording there where you're saying you're ending a day with a bang. But
no, it was no.
I'm not judging, but
no, actually, the reason we went to Toys R Us, I wasn't expecting this to be the first 5 minutes. I'll be honest, but the reason we went to Toys R Us was that years ago when I was like 10, I bought a yo-yo. You remember that craze we had a yo-yo craze about 15 years ago.
Yeah, was it? I can't remember there was a really good one. It was the guy, Johans was the guy who did the proper adverts. The guy with the stupid flat cap before they were cool.
But they were great. They were like trick yo-yos, weren't they? So you could like flick them down and they'd stay there, and you do like rock the baby and like cradle stuff and whatever.
Cat's Cradle, I remember that.
Yeah, Cat's Cradle, that's it. And I got it from that Toys R Us in Lincoln. So I was like, we'll go back. Walked around the entire Toys R Us about 15 minutes, couldn't find one, didn't bother to ask anyone, just walked out. So waste of everybody's time. Apart from I took a picture of Jack holding a Minecraft book, so that was good. That was the noise
highlight. Of the it was like,
yeah. Honestly, I was quite good at it. I mean, I think since then I became quite adept at the Diablo. I think I moved my skills away from the yo-yo because I couldn't find another one. In fact, I might buy one on Amazon after this. Remind me. So there we are. I really want a flicky trick yo-yo.
The yo-yos are due a comeback, aren't they? Surely.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I may have gone past the age of which I can be cool with it. But I think
you can be hipster cool though, because that's another like level of cool, isn't it? Like you can be cool of you just you're in with the fashion, but hipster cool is doing something obscure, but everyone else is already doing it, but you're not actually socially accepting that other people are doing it.
Yeah, but you can walk the dog with a yo-yo. I think doing that in the park around where I live would be a little bit suspect. What you did, just walking the dog. Check out my skills. It'd be a bit weird.
It sounds like something of a poor Dom Jolly sketch show.
Yeah, I didn't really like Dom Jolly's sketch shows.
That's
Trigger Happy TV. I wasn't like a big fan of it. There were some that were great, and there were some that were just not good.
It was the one. It was the one I always remember. Not the guy with the phone, but the snail walking, going across playing with Unintended by Muse
across the zebra crossing.
Zebra crossing.
Yeah, that was great. I should say, if you're under the age of sort of 22, we've
probably going to be struggling. This is like
we've lost you.
99 2000.
Yeah, we've lost you.
Here.
This is when I was a kid and I was up too late watching sort of Channel 4. This is all it was.
Why was it Eurotrash? That's like Sunday night.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, of course you bloody do. Don't pull my leg that way.
That's not what I was pulling. Right. Anyway.
Matron. Right. Okay. We'll bring this back around to Football Manager. Rather sharpish, I think, because 5 minutes.
7 minutes, whatever it is. 5 minutes into this, we're not even mentioning
absolute
the game.
Gubbins.
Sorry, everyone.
Turned off.
This is my fault. Sorry.
It's all right. We'll get this out of the way early, and then we've got a tangent reference point to come back to at some point. So we're fine. Okay, so I'll start with the first question. If people haven't turned off by now, they might have, but they like the sound of your voice, so we should be all right.
Yeah.
So obvious question. Hopefully, yeah. Obvious question to start with is, when did Football Manager first captivate your attention?
Well, I had to think about it. For a long time, I thought it was one version of events, but it wasn't actually. It was a different version of events completely. You know, when you would go around a friend's house, again, we're going back towards the early 2000s here, folks, so enjoy this. You go in a friend's house, and if they had a computer, there wasn't like a two-player option. So you just have to pull up a chair and sit and watch that person play on the computer. Do you remember this?
Yes.
Did you ever do this?
Yeah, I still do it now when I go around a certain friend's house.
I'd go around certain friends' house and I'd never get a go. And if I did get a go, it'd be 5 minutes. And it'd be like the mum of the son going, go on, give him a go. And the son's looking at it going, he doesn't know what he's doing, I'm not giving him a go. So he'd be there for ages. And Football Manager was the first game that I remember vividly sitting behind someone and watching them play. And it was 2001. It was that version. And then ironically enough, that version came out in cereal boxes.
Yes, I remember the cereal boxes.
So you could get a demo version where you could play sort of 6 months, I imagine, of that version. And I don't know what it was. I used to play it religiously. So you get 6 months and then it would go, your trial version has ended or your demo version has ended or something like that. And then I switched on to getting the next version of the game. And I started, so 2001, 2002 was the first one I owned. It was the red case with sort of Championship Manager scrawled across it with a football. Oh, it was great. So yeah, Championship Manager 0102 was the first game that I became sort of addicted to, especially on PC. I think the other PC games I liked were like The Sims and Roller Coaster Tycoon and things like that. But Football Manager was the one game that I could play for hours and hours and never seemingly get bored of. So
why was that? I mean, how old would you have been then?
So I was 11. So I was born in 90. So I was 10, 11 around that time it came out.
So and what was the particular thing about it that really drew you into that? Like being, 11, that's not sort of game that you should be, I'm not going to say it's a glorified spreadsheet because it is so much more than that, but like the generally accepted,
it's not FIFA. It's essentially what you're trying to say. It's not
absolutely.
FIFA.
It's not like there's no 3D, there's no anything like that, especially at that point. It's literally you're looking at player attributes and then seeing the occasional bar flash up on the screen. Yeah. That's literally your lot. So why was 11-year-old you interested in that?
I don't know. Like I had a PlayStation, so I was playing like FIFA as well. I remember having FIFA 2000 very vividly too. But something about Championship Manager was just this endless desire to want to win at things, and I don't know what it was. I was quite a competitive child, to be honest. I didn't like losing at anything, and Football Manager was the sort of game where, because you could get so lost in it, and the depth of the game meant that so many things could change based on what you did. And then even at that age, there's things I'm doing. Like if I start a new game, I'm doing the exact same thing every single time because of just how I played the game. I'd buy like Sebastian Frey and Enrico Chiesa. Didn't matter who I was. I'd always buy those two players, and so you ask, what was it about it? I think it was just, I was a bit of a sort of football. Basically, I was a football nerd from the age of like 8 years old. I would get sort of annuals with just stats in, and just read through it, and I'd like write them out into notebooks and things like this. I remember having one from sort of like the 96 season where whatever year it was the year. The reason I can remember it is it was the year that Manchester United and Southampton had like a 6-3.
Oh, with the grey kit. See, this
it was something like that.
It was. Was
that the game where it was 6-3?
I'm telling you, yeah, it was at the Dell.
Because it had like the highest scores from that season. I remember that was the book I had. I've got no idea where the book is now. It might still be like in the loft or something. But I would copy out that entire book into my own sort of little notebook. And Championship Manager just became that game that sort of fulfilled that need of having it live, and I could play the stats essentially. And I think that must have been what it was at the time. At the time, you don't really think about it. You're just playing it over and over again. And
it's quite a difficult thing to reflect on as well, like asking the adult your like self
I can't remember
to look back. Yeah, exactly. I remember that I was very similar to you as a child in that I loved the tactical side of stuff. I mean, I was hopeless at playing. I still am hopeless at playing football, but that's sort of why I sort of took an interest in the the nitty gritty. And I've, similar to you, in my parents' loft, I've got so many football books about stats, tactics.
It's like match annuals, things
absolutely,
like this.
Yeah. I had a subscription to Match for a time. My dad used to buy me Match and Shoot as well, so I used to get all of like I think Shoot originally.
Shoot! I forgot Shoot was even a thing. I was so obsessed with Match magazine. Shoot annuals I used to get as well. Yeah,
I used to prefer Shoot. I used to prefer Match above Shoot, to be honest.
Yeah, and in the magazines you'd get posters. I used to stick the posters that you get out of the Match magazines on the wall and things like this.
I remember having one of David Beckham when he was it would have been when he was taking the shot from the halfway line against Wimbledon. I had that in poster form from Match.
I vividly remember having one of like Kenny Miller. It was like I didn't get Wolves. I didn't care for Kenny Miller at Wolves. I had a poster of him on my wall. But I said, when I say a poster, I mean like an A4 bit of paper, and I had like loads of them just spread around like a border. That was those were the days. Yeah.
Yeah.
I still love
kids these days don't get that. They, I don't know if like Shoot or Match exist anymore. Actually, I do know Match exists because I applied for a job at them, but I didn't get it.
There's things. sorry to hear that. There's things we remember as kids that I feel like there is a generation now that miss out on. Like I know there's kind of sort of a retro, almost sarcasticness to collecting stickers, but sticker collecting when I was a kid was like, every year you'd do it. The amount of £3.50s I'd spend on getting 10 packs was outrageous.
Like Tuesdays were the day I would look forward to most in a week because it would be the day when my dad would come home from work a bit later and I'd get Match for that week or Shoot or both.
Yeah. And
then I'd also get stickers. And that's the day we would look for. Tuesdays and Thursdays were like the dream days.
Yeah. You get sort of towards the end of the sticker collection, sort of everyone has sort of got quite a lot now. That everyone's got sort of 70%, and the amount of swaps you'd have on the playground, and you'd smash them out of someone's hand, and oh my god, it was a free for all. You'd have to have a rubber band just to be safe. I'll get a rubber band around mine because I've seen what's happened to Duncan over there, and we've had an assembly about it. So no way is that happening to me. I'll bring you a rubber band.
Did you always have like the kid that? Whether he was like, I don't know, a Jehovah's Witness or something like that, or maybe his parents were just rich and didn't give a flying, but they bought him like boxes of stickers, and so he'd completed it. But it comes out in whenever like the October, and he's completed it by the end of October.
Yeah, I went to sort of towards the end of the year. Then you could go to stadiums.
The Merlin thing. I never went to one.
I went to one in Ipswich, and I felt sick on the car on the way there. It's about an hour and a half drive, and it was supposed to be Matt Holland was supposed to be there. And it was Jermaine Wright and Titus Bramble. So I've got a big picture of Titus Bramble in the back of one of my sticker books. I think it might have even been the 01-02 season or the 2001 season. And I got it filled in, and he sort of went along. That was the year you could get it in crisp packets as well. You get like the little
yeah.
So I used to like sort of hand over vinegar filled stickers, going, I need that one, please. I need that one. So it was great. I mean, this has nothing to do with Football Manager, but I'm enjoying reminiscing about football in general. To be honest,
it's nice. It's nice. It's part of like that. It ties in with that time in your life. So as far as I'm concerned, it's relevant.
Yeah, I did have one. I'm not saying I know the questions, but I will try and link this. The first save I can remember, sort of vividly remember, is I had a save on Championship Manager 01-02 where I managed Liverpool, Roma and Real Madrid at the same time. Now, what you're thinking is, how has that happened? Well, one, they were sort of, Liverpool and Roma were the two teams that made the most sense for me to be. I just enjoyed being them. If I was ever in an English team, I'd always be Liverpool. If I was ever a team outside of England, it would be Roma. And Real Madrid had all the money. So you would just be Real Madrid and just buy players that you didn't want But then for some reason I decided, well, I'm just going to use these players and play as Real Madrid as well. So I had 3 teams on the go at the age of 11, and I got to 2018 in that save. That was a 17-year save with 3 teams.
That's incredible. And strangely enough, this links very well into the next question.
Yeah.
And hopefully you've not already answered that question with what you've just said.
No.
But take us through your sort of most favoritist save.
I like that word, favoritist.
I'm going to apply for it to be put into the dictionary, because I did have someone put a message on one of the previous episodes saying it's not actually in the dictionary. We'll rectify that.
Spoil
I'm sure.
sport.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a phrase I've used.
What is your favoritist, and why is it your favoritist?
Oh, this is pretty tough, because I feel like for years, probably for 10 years, I had saves where they were always very similar. Like I went through a period where I just didn't play video games, whether that was Football Manager or FIFA or Call of Duty or anything, from the ages of probably about sort of 13 to about 18. I was more so concentrating on football. I didn't really care too much about video games. I didn't have a console or anything. I think I had a GameCube, and that was sort of the limit for me. Play a bit of Mario Kart Double Dash. But every save was very similar. I'd be Liverpool or I'd be Norwich, because they were relatively local and I had a few connections to them from playing. And those were the saves I would do. And that was pretty much my limit. I didn't really go outside of those clubs until, obviously, you start YouTube. And all of a sudden, your creativity has to be that bit more, and you have to go outside of what you would do normally. For example, ironically enough, I've done a Liverpool save and a Norwich save, and they were 2 of the first saves I did. I think they were the 2 first saves I did on my channel. And then since then, you feel like, I mean, you'll know, as a YouTuber, you want to take on something that essentially nobody else is doing and try and make it as creative as possible. And the first time I really did that was probably with Parma. And I took a challenge, which was, obviously, they were in financial ruin, essentially, to the point where now they had to go down 4 divisions or something like that. And that became sort of one of the saves that I'm probably most known for as well, especially if you were around back then. I think a lot of people that watched that save even started to do YouTube because of it, which means a lot to me.
I've watched it all twice.
That's quite. I've not even watched it through once. So no, apart from playing it,
thing is, I know it's sort of more tangents, but I find it's good to watch through what you've done as a creator, not just because like you're supposed to like what you put out anyway, and obviously you see it when you're editing. Yeah. But then I think seeing the journey, how the viewer has seen your journey, it gives you other opportunities to maybe exploit certain areas in terms of like narrative and things that people have liked. Hashtag. And what. It was unintentional plug for the thing that you're listening to already, but hey, but yeah, it's a difficult sort of. I think you need to have that appreciation for what the viewer sees, and almost sort of distance yourself from what you've put out, and so you can appreciate the entire story. And I've done that recently with, like when I put like a highlight reel together for the end of Return of the Rovers, and there's so much stuff I'd missed and I'd forgotten, and I've done the same thing sort of more recently with Recreativo, and sort of recapping where we've gone to, because, well, it's just nice to see. And I thought I don't want to lose sight of players that have played in past seasons and things like that. I've only got one player that's played with us for where we're up to now for every single season, and obviously with Parma being as long as it was, tracking that sort of thing, especially as it's such a meteoric rise as well, it's it's nice to track that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it was the sort of save that I very much like. I'm the sort of person that I'll make a video and then I'll edit it and I'll watch it through once, and just to make sure it's fine. And then I feel like, this is going to sound really strange, I've never vocalized this sort of thing before, but I feel like I give it to the people that watch it, and then it's me giving it to someone else, and it's kind of gone from me. There are videos, of course, that I think that, like, if I think I've made a really good video, I'll probably watch it like 5 times and be like, oh, this was actually quite a good video. But generally I feel like I make a video and then I give it to the people that watch it, and then it's sort of theirs. And at that point, it's up to me to make another one, which follows the same story. And Parma, for me, was the first time ever that I had Swindon before that, and Swindon was great. There were some great moments in it. But Parma was the first time I felt like I was in control of telling a story, and from things that happen in the game. But it was the first time I was creative, especially from a video standpoint as well, doing sort of 2-minute intros at the start of every video or whatever, and keeping a storyline with different sort of characters that are within that and within the team. So in terms of my favourite save, Although I'm not sure it's my best series, because I think Salford was probably technically a better series because it was just better quality generally. I think Parma probably is still my favourite, but I should say I'm 7 episodes into my new one, and I don't know. I feel pretty happy about it. So,
is it something that privately, have you ever? It's more because it's entirely relevant. But have you ever done like a journeyman sort of thing offline and away from anything, or is this your first ever sort of time of doing this sort of save?
I very nearly did one on stream a few years ago. And then started at Luton, and it went horrendously and just stopped because I thought, if it's going to be like this, I just don't want to do it. So no, actually, I've never done a journeyman save before. And I guess to do the first one on YouTube, where it started, indifferently. We'll talk about that later on. We'll talk about that later on. I think it's something I've always wanted to do because I think there's a great challenge there. And it's something I plan on doing sort of as I did PSG at the end of 2016 on YouTube, but I wanted to do it then. But obviously with the new game coming out in a few months, it didn't make sense to do it then. So waited, and I'm very much the sort of person, a lot of people were asking, like, where is it? Why are you not starting it quicker? And my attitude is that if I have to play this for 150, 200 episodes, I need to make sure it's correct at the beginning. Like, the planning stage is so important. The amount of people you see on YouTube start a save and stop after 40 episodes or 30 episodes because it stagnates. Like, I'm confident that this save can now run for as long as it needs to run until we hit the goal of a Champions League final. So I had to get to that point, and I wasn't there before Christmas, and it was only after Christmas that I thought, do you know what, now we're ready to go with this and we can put sort of everything into it. And I hopefully for people that watch it, it shows. So I would
absolutely say it does, and that's not just me sucking up to you because you're giving me your time to be here. Obviously,
you've paid me, so I'm here for a reason. Everyone gets paid, right? Everyone else got paid, right? Foxy, Jack, everyone? No, doesn't matter. Sorry, move on.
Yeah. Next question. Yeah. So, what were your favourite player? Now, I think I know the answer to this question anyway, but in case other people are not aware of who your favourite player or players from that save or any other save, because I've had saves there I've that maybe have not been my favourite, but I've actually had favourite players from other saves that outrank them. Who were they? And also, were there any sort of standout transfers or any standout transfers that you've had, whether they've been your transfers or any that's occurred like in the game, like weird ones, or I've seen some recently in like 2017 where like exorbitant transfer fees for mediocre players, #China.
Yeah. We had one actually. I don't know. I can't remember which save it was. It was either Palmer or Salford, but I think Aaron Ramsey went for 74 million to Manchester United. Jesus. And it was like, oh, okay, that's a thing, is it? Oh, right, that's a lot of money. That seems. How much am I going to have to pay for play? Oh, okay, right, well, brilliant. In every save, you always have one player that kind of sticks out. So if I was to go through, I'm going to say this very quickly for people that have watched these series and want to know. So John Ruddy at Norwich, Memphis Depay at Liverpool. That seems funny now, obviously. Rogerinho at ABC, which
I remember
was a brilliant squad. Yeah, Rogerinho. Pixie at Swindon, and Craig Tanner was sort of a part of that as well. But Pixie at Swindon, who was a Polish striker I had that I brought in for like 450k, and he's the best striker I've ever had on Football Manager, and he's just ridiculous. Real name Janas Pizaruk, for anyone that's interested. At Parma we had a few. We'll come back to this, but Jean Monnier, he was a French striker that started at Juventus, and I always wanted and had on loan for 2 years, and then eventually signed him. And spoilers. And then at Salford, and then so it kind of ends at Salford. I've had other saves as well, but then at Salford we had like Jeff Thomas, who was a Welsh regen, and Andy Tannoy, of course, he's a footballer that I've changed the career of. I haven't at all, apart from the fact his sister now follows me on Twitter, but that's about it, really. I think
the thing is, though, the Andy Tannoy story is quite incredible. I think
it's quite funny. The funniest part of the whole Andy Tannoy thing is so.
I know what you're going to say.
There's two. Actually, no. To be fair, there's two things. Right, there's two things about Andy Tannoy that are hilarious. The first thing is that I've said his name wrong for 2 years or a year, and I knew that. Like the first time I ever pronounced Andy Tannoy, I say Andy Thanoj. And which is how you say it, and everyone in the comments was like, "You're saying it wrong." So I was like, "Oh, okay," and everyone was going, "It's pronounced Tannoy," and that to me, Tannoy, I was like, "Oh, I could actually do something with Tannoy." Thanoj is a closed book. So it is Andy Thanodge. So sorry, Andy Thanodge, that I've been calling you Andy Tannoy, which isn't even close to Thanodge in reality. But the best thing is that on this year's game, the big perk of Andy Tannoy was this lower league player that had 20 free kick taking. This year, 14. So he's lost the only ability that he had, really.
So he's pretty hopeless now.
Yeah, but in real life, Harrogate, he's doing all right. And, thank you, Harrogate, for letting me have some footage of him saying my name, which is nice. So in that respect, he's one of my favourite players. But Monier at Parma was, he was. I think for a lot of people,
place.
Yeah, for everyone. I think for people that watched, he holds a special place, and for me, he certainly does. He was just. I don't know. I think occasionally you have a player on Football Manager that just scores goals, and you expect them to do it. And he was that player for me. He scored goals when I just expected him to do it. And it was for a team like Parma. Like, our team wasn't the best. Spoilers for the series, but in that series, it was just a constant battle of, are we ever going to be able to topple Juventus? Because obviously Juventus now are very, very dominant. And it was just constantly, can we topple them? And the one season they didn't win it, bloody Inter Milan rose up and won it instead. And it just went on and on and on. And eventually we do topple them. And he was a major part of that, and obviously picked up an injury at the end of the season, and I carried on doing sort of a French Euro save that he couldn't play in, or could he play in? And yeah, so it was he's the one player that sticks out as just being Mr. Reliable, my favourite player. Like, I didn't really create sort of a story around him other than him and his career. Like, it wasn't like I ever talked to him in the way I have for some players. But Jean Monier.
If anyone, I mean, I'm assuming that a lot of people that are listening to this will already be subscribed to you anyway, and if not,
don't
you've
bother,
sent them over here.
You probably hate it, so sorry that I'm here.
What I was going to do is actually plug Parma, just to set like your Parma series, even though it's 2 game. It was on Football Manager 2015.
Yeah,
it's not. You don't watch it for the game. It's the narrative.
The narrative, the hashtag
save.
narrative.
Indeed.
Yeah.
That's what I like watching things back again. I've watched Breaking Bad a number of times, so basically you're in the same territory as Breaking Bad.
I mean, that's my favourite TV show ever, so I'll take that. So that's pretty good.
The fact that I've watched one thing, and it's not like a short series either, multiple times, and also other people that have watched Salford will be introduced to another person as well, but no spoilers.
That's funny actually you say that, because I try with Salford obviously came after Parma, and with Salford I made a lot of references to Parma, but not to the point that if you didn't watch Parma you wouldn't understand. But I wanted people that had watched Parma to understand the references in the Salford story, so they'd get a little bit more out of it. In the same way that I will in the Journeyman, I will reference previous saves. So for new people, it might just go straight over their head. But for people that have watched before, there will be that sort of nod to certain things, which I think people actually quite like. I think they like the fact they've been involved for so long, and they can kind of see
introducing like your own tropes to something is nice. Yeah. And I think I don't want to say it because you'll hang up.
What?
But like bottle job has become synonymous with you now.
Can I swear on this?
You can.
Fuck off. Honestly, I'm so sick of this. Like, we're at the point now, if you Google the word bottle job.
I was just going to do it. I was just going to make sure you're still the first thing that comes.
I don't know if I'm first, but I'm pretty close to first.
Oh, no, you are. Images.
Third one.
Someone hasn't edited the Urban Dictionary definition yet to correct it.
No.
But images, your Salford Story number 12 thumbnail is
the third one.
Is the first one. First image.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Oh, hang on a minute. This is a turn up for the books. I'm actually on the 4th line down. One of my Recreativo. Yeah, it says bottle job incoming because that was the title. I can't believe that. That's ridiculous.
Wow,
how are all of those not your thumbnails? I do not know.
Oh, thanks very much for that. That's not a compliment. But no, I think there's quite a few that have sort of been referenced to it. But I think that episode was, I'll refresh me. Yeah, that episode was called Bottle Job, and it was. So, look out for that. Oh. Yeah, the idea of failing at Football Manager is something people enjoy watching me do, which is not something I thought would happen when I started.
I think everyone's just sick, but it does make it more fun. And also, it makes those wins so much more sweeter.
Yeah, I feel like you do have to have the low points to enjoy the high points that bit more. I mean, I've had to develop that mindset. Jack's never had that. Jack's just had, I'm going to win well. And I'm sort of like 7 years without winning anything in the Premier League.
But I think it gets boring when you start winning everything and you win every game, and you don't have to change anything. You don't have to think about anything. It gets a bit stagnant. And then the thing is, if people see you winning all the time, Why? Why are they going to find it fun? It's
I thought you got somewhere else there. That was.
No. I steered it the other way. Don't worry. Done. I thought I'm not going to open that can of worms.
Not right now.
Not right now.
You know, we'll see. We'll wait till it goes past 9 o'clock, listeners. We'll do it then.
Well, it's.
Sorry.
Thank you.
I can't help it. It's in my nature.
You were saying about the low and high point. Now, fortunately, no one. This isn't out yet, but this will be out. We're recording this before I release this episode. But episode 35 of the Recreativa Rejuvenation. I know I'm plugging myself, and I shouldn't really, but I don't care.
If you're not already subscribed to Matt, this is probably the perfect opportunity. So there
is a moment in that. Basically, I'm in the playoffs to get out of Liga Adelante to get into La Liga. Right. I've already getting to the playoffs was. I've already had one bottle job because I was in second place and then I dropped down and ended up having to get promoted through the playoffs. So the semi-finals were a bit of a breeze and they were a lot easier than I thought. Now, the playoff final itself, spoiler alert, is a different kettle of fish entirely. And it was like, was completely drained, everything taken away from me. And then the moment of elation at the end is so pure and intense. Yeah. I've watched it back, having edited it, and it's just that is why you have those low points. That is why you never reload if you lose.
Yeah.
All of that stuff.
Yeah, I won't. I have one. I mean, you've seen Parma, you'll know. There's one moment in Parma where that hits the pinnacle of that exact moment you're talking about. Where there's a late goal.
Is it beginning with S?
No, it is beginning with S. There's a late goal that happens in another game, and Spell! Oh, Spell! It was quite high pitched actually at the time. Looking back, it was a mistake. But that is certainly the one moment I've had that is very similar to that moment. So people, if you're looking forward to that, I almost want to. I know we're not supposed to do this, and this is completely not relevant to the question you asked. I almost want to spoil what happens because I'm the only person that knows. But by the time this comes out, it will have already happened.
Because I've just gone and done it. So
in the journeyman save. Yeah. So you don't know this. This is going to be fun for you, man. So obviously I've been at Romania. That's now over, and people have often said, "Oh, your pronunciations are terrible." If you're new to my videos, then I'm sorry. It's not going to get better. I'm not going to learn them all. It's just going to carry on being guesses. So I've taken a very exciting and comfortable trip to the Ukraine. So,
oh God,
yep. So that's going to be good. I now manage the worst team in Ukraine. So 6 games to go this season, the bottom. So that's going to be good. That's going to be, oh yes. Look forward to that, everyone.
That is.
By the time this comes out, I may well not be there anymore.
I was going to say.
So I mean, spoilers. Oh dear.
So what's the next team then? As we
guess. Spoilers. Oh, Northern Ireland. Let's get there. I mean, I did apply for there, but they said no. Never mind. That would have been easier. I can say Griffiths, but never mind.
Well, you kind of possibly answered part of question 5, really. But the question 4 was, would you ever go back? And obviously, going back to Parma would be a big thing. Has it ever been something that's tempted you to go back to that, or any other, any of your other? It doesn't have to be a YouTube save. It can be something that maybe you've done in the past, like pre-YouTube, and then you're wanting to maybe go and revisit it on YouTube. But is that ever something that's tempted you?
Yeah, I did say in 2014 when I first started streaming, I had a save with Real Oviedo, which was probably on the top 3 saves I've ever done. It was really, really fun. So I've got them to be in the conversation with Real Madrid and Barcelona sort of year in, year out in sort of an 8-year period from being a 3rd tier team. And then last year I did it again and sort of stagnated too quickly. And it was just, I think we did about 6 seasons, but it was just, oh man, we never quite hit those levels that we did before. When it comes to people like teams like Salford and Parma especially, I just feel like everything I would ever do in those saves would be compared to what we did the first time. Yeah. And you can't capture what happened again, so you have to do something new. The only save I've done so far that I would do again is Liverpool. And I dare say that in the beta of the next game, that's something I'll probably consider doing, because I've always done a Premier League team at the start of the save. And I think Liverpool, it'll be 3 years since I did it. That's the only team I'd probably go back to.
Maybe you could make an outlandish bet, like if they finished in the top 4.
Yeah. If Jurgen Klopp's still manager, I'll still do it. If that main stand is still looking lovely, then I'll be doing a Liverpool save. So the answer essentially is no. I probably wouldn't ever go back, but there are small exceptions to the rule. And maybe I've got a 3-year rule. Maybe we'll do Parma next year. Again, though, if in the journeyman they're the only option and they want me, I will be there.
That would be amazing, wouldn't it? I think
would be quite nice.
Be sort of full circle.
But then the idea of leaving Parma would be...
Ooh.
I mean, actually, I don't know if I should say this out loud. It's something I did. In the Parma save, I played on.
It's all right as long as you're not illegal.
I played on. It's actually not illegal. I played on the Parma save in that next season. We were doing all right, but I got an offer from Liverpool. So I took it and signed 1 year.
Oh, no.
I did. And then I stopped playing. So
I'm hearing little hearts shatter throughout the whole world now.
Yeah, that's the first time I've said that, I think. I don't think I've said that on stream or anything. So, yeah, that happened. Sorry, everyone.
A little Benjy exclusive there.
Yeah.
Oh, treated. Yeah. Well, I remember that you returning to Oviedo. I think it was probably November-ish last year.
Yeah,
and
that'd be right.
The reason why I remember it is... because it still makes me laugh now. You'd literally, my wife would come in. I was working from home that day. My wife had just walked in, and she basically did exactly the same as what Ellie did to you. You'd just beat Barca 3-2, like come back from adversity and beating them, and you just go, I've just beaten Barcelona. And she's like, and she just didn't care. And then you were just like, she literally doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
It's just so deadpan.
I have a lot of those moments where I get a move somewhere. And I go to Ellie, we're off to Leicester, are we? Good. I'm like, yeah, excited? No. Oh, okay. No, it's just, yeah, she's got a wonderful trait of just being able to suck the joy out of my football manager moments.
As long as it's just the joy.
Oh, dear.
Well, you lowered the tone earlier, so I'm bringing it back down now.
I mean, can we go any lower?
No. Well, I'm sure we can try.
I'm sure you're going to give it your best shot. Yeah. Anyway, on to the next question.
So, on to the final question. And, well, we've touched on it very briefly, but have you ever been sacked?
Yes, I have. Twice.
So
Really?
The other part to this question is normally when it's in front of whether you're willing to admit it in front of the world, basically.
They may have seen it. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think it actually happened again. Like sort of a stream save that just doesn't go very well, and I got sacked. But there was 2 moments that stand out. One more recently in the Journeyman. I mean, that is a spoiler, but that doesn't end well. They put me in an impossible position. I don't know what you're supposed to do with the worst team in Romania. The bottom 5 teams get relegated, and there's nothing below it. So I don't know
5? That's obscene.
Yeah, it's too many. I think it should have been 1 and maybe not me. But yeah, I should say actually, again, I'll give you a little spoiler. I checked back after I'd been sat there 1 a game. I was like, get out of here. Get out of here. I don't even want to look at it. 1-0, good clean sheet. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, and the other time was, again, I made a video about it. It happened on stream. I was managing Doncaster during the beta of 2016, maybe 15, maybe 16, 15. Not sure. I think it was 15. Yeah, so I was managing Doncaster, and I just didn't want to talk to the press. I'd gone from Barcelona to Blackpool. Doesn't seem normal, but it happened. I then left Blackpool. I sort of resigned before I was pushed, so I didn't get sacked from Blackpool. Took the Doncaster job. I mean, this is the managerial path of many managers. Won the League of Barcelona, and then went to... that just sounds funny. Went to Blackpool, because that was the only team that would offer me a job post-Barcelona. Seems bizarre.
It does sound like something that would be in like a spin-off to Mike Bassett.
Yeah, and then went to Doncaster and didn't talk to the press. So I was called into the boardroom, and they just sacked me on the spot. They said, it's not a good enough excuse. You're gone. I was like... And then, so on the inbox, you could see DoctorBenjy's been hired as Doncaster manager. DoctorBenjy's been fired as Doncaster manager in the same screenshot. And I posted it on Reddit as well. There is a video of it on my channel, so if you are interested in hired and fired in a day, then you can.
If you provide me with the link, I'll put it in the video.
Oh, it's a 4-minute example of what happens. And there's even a role play in the video, so I mean, it's worth it. But yeah, have you seen that?
I have, yeah. I remember what I think I watched it live actually.
Oh, good. Yeah, it was a moment. Came in, Ellie. I told Ellie I'd been sacked. She went, have you? Good. I was like, yeah. She's delighted. That's the most animated she'd ever been. Fuming. So I've been sacked a few times. There's no shame in it. But I mean, you ask us have you been sacked? I've resigned on the brink a few times just to avoid the sacking. I mean, like, I just go. It's best for me and the club that we just leave and get out of it before I'm pushed. But yeah, I've had to deal with it a couple of times.
Oh, well, thank you for your honesty, really.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose everyone's
It's like an AA meeting, isn't it? I realise.
Yeah. Other than being an addict, I'm admitting that I've been sacked from a computer game that means literally nothing. But
yeah. Someone actually tweeted me today saying, "Why don't you manage a real team?" I'm thinking that it's a leap, isn't it? I mean, I don't know if he's just come from episode 7 of The Journeyman and gone, "You should manage a real team now. I think you're ready." Then
I don't know if he's more perhaps referencing the fact that the team that you were playing as no longer existed.
Yeah, I mean,
could have been going from that angle. Who knows?
I should say no. We've not seen The Journeyman safe. It is a dire situation to go into. I'm not being able to talk about it really because it's all come out in the last week. But it is like. Can we talk about it a little bit? I don't want to change the schedule.
The thing is, this is my cynical way of why I asked you on now, because I thought now it's out, you can talk about it. See,
yeah,
clever intentional marketing.
Well, you've done very well. You've done very. I'll be sure to mention this in the video. So the idea was when I first looked at the jobs available, I thought, I'll take whatever I can get. There's obviously the star ratings for teams, and I'm limited really to half a star to a star, maybe if I get lucky. There's a few clubs in Ireland interested. There's one in Belarus. I think there was another one in maybe Hungary as well. And then I didn't mention that in the video. And then there was one in Romania. And I was convinced I would be getting Ireland, to the point where I'd even told someone I'm probably going to end up in Ireland. And then Ireland just went, no. And then all that was left was Shumi Pankota in Romania. Worst team in Romania. I then Wikipedia them. They've dissolved. So I'm thinking they're in such good standing that they don't even exist anymore, and their best player is called Randy Diamond. It was a dream come true from a YouTube save perspective. I was like, this is everything I could want. There's a player called Daniel Dan. I was thinking, this could not be better. I was scrolling through thinking this is perfect. And then you play with that team and realise that they are so much worse than everybody else in that division. And 7 episodes have changed teams. So what more can I tell you?
What disappointed me the most is that you failed to make a joke about Pankota dissolving.
Yeah, I didn't want to alienate people that weren't familiar with dessert.
Well, it's a niche joke.
It is.
And panna cotta is a niche dessert.
It is a very niche dessert. I don't even know if I've ever had panna cotta.
Well, if you've had like custard,
ice cream, you can have it as ice cream as well, can't you?
It's like a thick cream.
Yeah,
it's sort of custardy taste. It's nice. It's good.
I'm just gonna.
There you go. Anyway, cultural.
Why
not?
Yeah, this is quite nice. With a variety of fruits. There's actually a strawberry one here on bbcgoodfood.com.
Links in the description.
Links in the description. I mean, after you've watched that video of me getting sacked, by all means, make a strawberry panna cotta. So enjoy that. So
and throw it on the floor in disgust.
I should say actually, right. So I've got this new team in Ukraine. I mean, I've got this new team. I'm going to have to Google what it's called. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get you to read it out.
Okay.
So
right.
you know about my history with pronunciations.
Mine aren't much better. I'm not going to lie. I tend to change players' names that I can't pronounce.
I mean, the worst thing is, right, I'm looking here. I can't even see the team that I'm now managing, which is a concern considering that I've got them.
Oh, you're not. Maybe it's the Benjy effect. You just dissolve teams. You're basically water to salt and sugar.
Yeah. I can't even
link.
Sorry, this is not good audio. I literally can't now find the team.
I'm trying to fill here.
Yeah, sorry. Either I've forgotten, or I don't know. Okay, what I'm going to do is this isn't it, right? But it's like what I'm going to put to you in the chat we've got. So it's like that. So
excellent.
Yeah. Try and say that. That's not the team. So by all means.
Okay. Oh my god. Okay, so FC Teplovic, Ivano Frankinsvik, Kizvik.
Good try. It's a good try.
Yeah, that'll do.
So that's
about as Ukrainian as I get.
That's not who I'm in charge of, but it's something like that. So that's going to be fun, isn't it?
That is quite a mouthful. No, don't even rise to that one. Oh, no, not that one either.
No, there's so many. Basically, if you're looking at the Ukrainian second tier, avoid every team in it because it's just a nightmare. So yeah, oh dearie me. So I don't know where we're going to end up. I don't know how many episodes it's going to be. It's one of those saves that can go on
with the flow
forever. I'm hoping it doesn't go beyond 150 though. I think 150 is too many.
Because I know famously, like everyone knew it, but like you'd admitted that Salford had like a specific endpoint, and then you ended up going way past that because you wanted to carry it on.
I had 125 episodes for Salford, and we hit 200. So to say that didn't go to plan is an understatement, but that will happen if you have 7 years in the Premier League without winning anything. And when I say anything, I mean anything. We didn't win a League Cup or anything. We did awful in the cup competitions. For some reason, somehow no one really noticed, but I was particularly dreadful at Salford for about 7 years. We had a 7-year gap where nothing happened, and luckily people still watched, which was nice, but yeah, it was pretty bad. Sorry,
go watch everyone.
Yeah. I mean, go watch it. I mean, in Parma, at least it's interesting. At least every season's got a point to it. And end of another season. So, fourth. Not much has happened. A lot of the time. You basically
became Arsenal.
I did become Arsenal. I did actually. I never thought about it like that, but that is an awful reality of what happened.
Yeah, oh dear. Sorry about that. It's now become noticed, and now everyone's going to Well, you were playing in red, I suppose. That's not too much of a leap to make.
Yeah. Sorry, Arsenal fans. It's not been a good year, has it? So
for the past however many years? 10?
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, before I start getting bashed by Arsenal fans for bashing them.
What, online? Am I Arsenal fans?
Really? I know.
Not a chance that could ever happen.
No, they're just happy as Larry about everything, aren't they? Football Twitter.
That W one in 99 was good. Or 98, sorry. Yeah, love that. 98, sorry, it was 98. I wrote it out enough times in a notebook. No, really. Dear me.
Topical reference. Well, as it's a bit different, and I'm springing this on you a bit, do you have any questions for me before we wrap this up?
I do have a question for you, actually. Although you didn't actually have this, I thought if you give me the opportunity, I've got a question. What's the plan then for this year? For people that maybe have come from my channel and have got to this point and enjoyed the chat, what's the plan for this year? Because a lot of people I notice on YouTube are literally setting like number goals, which I don't think is very healthy. I've got to say, I know there's a few guys that have done it. I know Loki and Kev did it, for example. Just be careful setting goals. I know, like, I have goals every year that I privately set in my head, but I think saying them leaves you very open to feeling very frustrated if you don't hit them. And I'm not saying these guys won't hit them. I just think it's a bit dangerous to be putting numbers on where you might go in terms of YouTube growth, because it's pretty fucking random a lot of the time. So, go on.
So are we talking as in series plans?
Well, on YouTube, so obviously you've been doing it for, how long have you been doing it for now? Close to a year?
Just over a year now.
Yeah,
I started properly sort of towards the end of November 2015. There we go. The change of the year screwed my head over then.
So by the end of the year, do you have a target in mind? Have you set a target out loud? I've not heard you say that.
No. The thing is, my mindset has recently changed, and that's partly that's down to what people like yourself and Kev and other prominent members of the Football Manager community, quote unquote, who have sort of made me realise that whilst I started doing this for fun, it would be amazing if I could maybe do it for a bit more than just fun.
Yeah.
And I don't want to ever lose sight of the fact that that's why I started it, was for fun. And if the love goes away from it, then everyone will notice. But I've recently made the choice to start putting content out every single day, which is difficult, but I'm enjoying it, and I'm getting used to that process now. Yeah. So
the transition can be quite brutal. Like, it can be very...
I'm noticing already. Yeah. I've been doing it a week, and sleep. What's that?
Yeah, you do find yourself up at 4 thinking, actually, I'm doing this graphic, and I don't know why I'm doing this graphic.
All I do in my workflow for my day is I'll get up notoriously late for work because I've gone to bed late. I rush to work. I then do work, and at lunchtime, I'm either playing Football Manager on my laptop, I'm editing something on my laptop, making thumbnails on my laptop, doing YouTube descriptions or any other admin-y stuff I can do on an hour lunch break. Then I do the rest of work. Then I come home, I have dinner. Me and my wife have a little chat and watch TV or whatever, and then we go our separate ways for the evening. and she does her thing, like her little projects, and I do my little projects. And then that's working at the moment because we've both got something to focus on, and that's pretty much what I do. And then I'll rinse and repeat every day. And I'm getting used to it. I've switched editing software, so I've got a bit more time. I can edit things a lot more quickly, it's all about maximizing, I suppose, the small amount of time I have.
Yeah.
But in terms of views, because I've not done this day to day, Return of the Rovers was notoriously sporadic, but that was because at the time I was moving house, I was doing all sorts of other bits that that contribute to life stress, and also I was still doing it for fun. I was still finding my feet with editing and things like that, whereas now I think I've sort of nailed down how I tend to do things, and I kind of a bit of a magpie. I've pinched editing styles off a number of people and then sort of amalgamated them into my own.
Do, I feel like that's something people shouldn't be afraid of doing, as long as you can keep it unique to the point where it's representative of you. Then I think that's what people should do. You should take bits from other people and take the best bits that you think are good and put it into your own stuff, and then let your own personality carry the rest of the way. But I think that's fine to do. So are you? I think this is tricky though, because I'm going to say something here which people won't like. But if you want to succeed with this, you have to treat it like a full-time job. I know that sounds.
That's what I was sort of saying about the mentality change.
Yeah.
Whilst I was doing it for fun, I wouldn't say I wasn't as almost bothered about when it went. When I put something out, and I could go 2 weeks, and at that point I wasn't really overly aware about sort of, I wouldn't say the business side, but how YouTube actually works. So had I have done a Kev or a Loki and put stuff out every single day straight from the off, maybe I would have a higher subscriber count.
Yeah, it's no coincidence that the people that do it daily are the people that tend to grow quicker than anybody else.
And that's the thing that sort of influenced me. So I've now, I think, engineered myself into a position where I'm able to both give myself time to record and edit, but I've also simplified my editing. Before I was trying all sorts of different things. I'm not going to say I'm putting less effort in, because over a week I'm putting way more effort in, but I was trying to be different with every episode. But because I knew the episode, it was going to be a shorter series, so I kind of had the time. I would basically give myself a week to maybe like write an intro effectively, or at least think of something a bit different to kind of fit in. Whereas now it's a bit more difficult to do it every single day, and also you can't keep up with that. I think you need to have really big intros for certain things, and then maybe slightly more understated, because then the peaks and troughs in it, the high points don't feel as high, or the really funny bits don't feel as funny if you're constantly doing it. And
you have to create the build for something.
Yes, absolutely. Special. It's all about a crescendo, and that's sort of, I think that's part of the intelligence of building a narrative. And the way I'm sort of compare it is, you watch a really good TV show like, I don't know, Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad, anything like that. They never go, you'll start maybe with a bang for a pilot, but then you'll notice the series sort of dips down towards the middle, and then it really builds up to the crescendo. And that's kind of the way I'm trying to, have those periodic peaks and troughs, so people really do feel that big oomph. It's certainly
it's certainly a pattern that I try and follow. Like, sometimes not even consciously. It's just the way essentially it's the way this sounds really sort of pretentious, but it's essentially just the way I try and direct it. That's just how it tends to come together. I am someone that studied film and media at school, and at college, so it is the kind of thing that I know something about, and how to get to that point, and how to take an audience on that path. But then actually doing it and get it to that point, and then making people feel that way is the challenge. And I think some YouTubers hit it, and some YouTubers don't really get it, and then miss the point, and then try and have the point, and it's like, oh, we never really got the payoff. And so that can be the struggle. But I think if people commit to it, if you commit to it, then there's no reason why you can't succeed at it. But it takes a long time. It's like, people forget that it doesn't just happen overnight. It takes a long time to get to a point of like steady growth. I think you're certainly someone that I think can get there without doubt. It's just how much time you can commit to it. And you got to keep it fun. That's the key thing. Like, I wouldn't do it if I didn't think it was fun.
I will openly admit, so anyone who is watching Recreativo at the moment, there have been some episodes that I've either tried a different editing style or become a bit more lax and a bit more, I suppose, open-ended and tried to do more of a sort of a longer prose when talking throughout games and things like that, almost to make it easier for myself to edit. Yeah. But then when I've put those things out, I've not been as happy with those as I have been with other episodes. So I've sort of almost evaluated myself and thought, actually, I'm much happier doing things how I was doing it before. It may take half an hour longer, but I'd much rather put that out knowing I'm happy with it than something that it's been easier, but I've almost felt like I'm half-assed or I'm shortchanging people because it's not what they're expecting.
Yeah. And
I think that's, you set yourself a reputation, that's, I'm not saying I have a reputation in any way, shape or form here, but when you put out a certain style of content, people will always expect that. So when you don't do that, whether it's good or bad, people, the way I've been looking at it is you don't want to, I can't remember the phrase, it's, robbing Peter to pay Paul, that sort of thing. So what you don't want to do is going for the subscribers you don't have, but then forgetting the ones you do have. You don't want to do that. You've got to find that sort of happy medium, really. My
philosophy has always been, don't ever try and cater to an audience you don't have, because you're essentially then appealing to nobody. So first and foremost, make videos for you. If you think they're good, then that's the key thing. Then if people aren't watching them, you've got to figure out why, and then assess that, and then make progressive steps to improve it. I think the biggest thing that, I mean, again, behind the curtain, the biggest thing I think that I do that would shock pretty much maybe nearly everybody that watches, I don't even know if you're fully aware of this, is that every video I make on the day.
Yes, I'm aware. I mean, I can't do that really well.
No, I should say not every video. For example, the intro video I did for The Journeyman took like 4 days. But there are, the majority of the time, for example, Monday's video will be made on Monday. Tuesday's video will be made on Tuesday. I might plan little bits for the next day, and that's what keeps me up late at night. But generally speaking, I will get up and make that video that day so that I am following the journey as much as the audience, so I can understand how it looks and how it feels and how people are reacting. That's why I don't create like a huge backlog, because I think it hinders the series actually. I will probably only record as far as like 3 ahead, because then I either lose sight of where I am. And sometimes it's if I know I'm going to be busy. Like I know you've done that yourself before when you know you've been away, so you sort of almost build up a backlog so you can go away without. I did it with the Who to Manage series. I had 7 done at once, which was not again.
Yeah, but it's a lot of effort, and also then when you come back to it, you almost need to get back into the rhythm, and I don't want to lose that rhythm once you get it. Yeah. So I think and that's also the other thing I've sort of found by making more content. It means that I'm actually more engrossed in the save myself without actually playing it an awful lot more. Yeah. So it's actually helped me find more enjoyment. I've now got to the point now in the save where I'm like, yes, I'm actually really attached to these players, and that was one thing that I knew I had to improve. And I think with Return of the Rovers, it was kind of hard because it was like a video a week, maybe 2 if you're lucky. I think building up those sort of almost internal characters, using the players as characters, was quite hard, because you'd sort of, if you've got an episode a week, you wouldn't really get to know them that well. Whereas daily, you get to sort of revisit them. You see them more. You see them playing more. You get to look at the relationship, like with your manager avatar and things like that. You get more time to explore that, and because you're seeing it more, you get more involved in it yourself. Yeah. But I think I had to. That's one thing I really needed to change, because when we were talking earlier about watching back your own content, when I went back and watched it myself, I noticed that I don't know the players. Why should I be emotionally invested in these people? Ultimately, people are watching this for a story as well as me being stupid. So I need to make sure that those characters, because that's what the players are effectively, and we're being quite candid about this. They're the people that you need to develop and flesh out, whether that's through the game's natural narrative or whether you pick out sort of a trait of theirs that you want to pick out, or whatever. That is your job as a creator is to make sure that player stands out, like you did with Andy Tannoy by almost inadvertently pronouncing his name wrong.
Yeah, I don't like to. I never try and force it, but if it appears naturally, then I'll 100% try and play off it. Because I think if it feels natural, because it is natural, then that comes across to an audience. If you try and pigeonhole a thing so you can have a thing in a series that you can reference and make jokes about and include like more often and have like a common theme throughout a series, people will just think that you're a bit of a chump. So like just try and work off things that happen naturally within the game. So if there's like Andy Tanner was the perfect example, literally because I said his name wrong and then just went with it for ages, and it became this thing where everyone sort of loved it by the end of it. Well, but it wasn't planned. I didn't think, I'll accidentally pronounce his name wrong and then do a little tannoy announcement every time he comes on. It was just, this makes sense now because of what I've called him, so we have to go with it.
I mean, I've had like several moments like that recently, which they will have come out now, so people know about them. I have a penchant for making penile references. So if you've never seen anything that I've done before, you will notice a lot of dick jokes. In fact, I've started calling them Silly Willy references because I think that's funnier than dick jokes. But
yeah.
But I signed a player called Willy. Like,
can you call it Whimsical Willies?
No. No, Whimsical Willies.
Whimsical Willies. I just made a Whimsical Willy. Sorry, everyone.
I like that. But
I'm using it in my own series now.
There was this Brazilian striker who was actually really good and he fitted the role I wanted him to play, but he's called Willy. How could I not sign him?
Yeah,
and the same as
has to be done.
I've then signed a centre back called Dix.
Yeah,
he's the best centre back I can get on loan, but he's called Dix. Why wouldn't I sign him?
Any player with a name that like has something else in it, like Laundry. Like, he was called Richard Taundry, Dickie Laundry. It was obvious. I mean, we had a player called it was like Muan or something. I was like, Muan? He's the cow. It was just, I don't know. Doesn't make any sense. Logically, doesn't make any sense. So I'm just like, well, I'm putting it in. So,
but I had it was Alan Muga, wasn't it? He used to play for Southport, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, I think you might be right, actually.
But I had one which is completely bizarre, and it's purely down to the audience that I got this name. I had I can't remember his actual name now, but we called him the Sausage. Because someone in the comments said that like his name was actually the Sausage in a language, but he never told me what it was. So he could have been having me on. But
actually,
he became the Sausage because of a comment.
There's a player at Sumi Pankota, the Romanian team, called Vulpi. Apparently means fox in Romanian or Belarusian.
Huh.
Yeah. Like, you'd think I'd be pleased. I wasn't really. I was more annoyed by it. That's how I left pretty quickly. So yeah.
But yeah, I do like that. Well, this has been. I've enjoyed this chat. This has been good.
I think it peaked at yo-yos, but
it absolutely. They're going to make a comeback. Same with Pogs. Pogs will make a comeback. I'm sure of it. In fact, why hasn't someone made an app for Pogs yet?
I don't know. It's too busy on Pokemon. I think Pogs is next.
Oh dear.
I'm looking forward to the Crazy Bones app. That's going to be good.
Crazy Bones.
That's going to be great.
My God.
Can you flick your bone? Sorry, no.
Dear.
That's a different app completely.
No.
Okay, that is the point to end this, I think, when I've said that.
Well, there's one more thing whilst we're talking about bones.
Oh, go on.
So I've got a player called Willy and I've got a player called Dix. Who would you think my assistant manager's called?
Oh God, there's so many options.
It's not penile related.
Oh, it's not.
No.
Is it female part related?
It might be, yeah.
Go on.
Quim.
Of course it is. I mean, if you've come over from my channel, sorry, I didn't think this would happen. I tried to stay away from it, but he's gone for it.
I've gone for it. It is out in the open anyway, so people have already seen that. But it's just like,
awful.
I can't.
Awful.
When that was the thing is, he's the best assistant manager there was at the time. I had to even sign him because he hadn't retired, but he had the best attributes. I'm
glad your life partner has got something else she can do while you do this. Because I'd hate for her to be involved. So
she's not surprised that I've not grown up yet.
Good. I mean, I wonder what gave it away. Anyway, dearie me.
Okay, right. So I think that we'll call it there before we get.
Is that an hour? That's an hour, right?
I know that's quite.
Blimey! If you've listened this long, then my good grief.
Yeah, they've had some lovely treats, particularly around the yo-yo area. This last part, minutes. Less so.
Yeah, it really is as if the day's gone on and we're now in the watershed moment. And there we are. Matt's brought us that.
I'll have to make sure that this bit airs after 9 o'clock.
Yeah, I mean the upload time just changed. Let's put it that way. Dear me.
It's his name. It's fine. Right. Anyway,
that makes it better.
Yeah, obviously. So before we go, it'll be rude not to let you plug your own stuff, Ben. So where can people find you and what can people see you doing?
YouTube.com/DoctorBenjy FM. Spelled with Dr. Benjy, spelled with a Y. Some people spell it with an I still, despite the fact it's almost... Sometimes in my chat, they'll say, "Hi, Benji." I'm thinking it's literally written. There, it says. I mean, it's literally in the name of the channel. Forget it. And Twitter as well, at Dr. Benjy. And I've got a friend called Ben Sports News that might tickle your fancy. Do you follow Ben Sports News?
I do, actually, I think.
Mental. Absolutely mental. He's got 2,000 followers.
He's got more followers than I have. That's
well, no, I'll be honest, Matt, you weren't the target. Proudy was, though. It's like, if my parody account gets more followers than Proudy, I'm never going to let him forget it. So I'm not doing. So it's great. So yeah, there you are. If you want to check anything out, Journeyman Safe going on right now. We're off to Ukraine. Bloody hell.
Excellent. Right. Okay. Well, thank you for taking the time to listen. If you've enjoyed this episode of Hashtag Narrative, then please tickle the like button and share and subscribe if you haven't already done so.
What's the like target?
You can set the like. Oh no, this went badly last time.
Did it?
Yeah, I remember you said like 1,000 or something else obscene. Maybe been 10,000.
All right, let's just say 250 likes.
Okay, we'll go with that.
That's easily doable.
Well, it is when you contribute, so...
Well, we'll see, won't we? 250 likes, smash it. If you're not already subscribed to Matt, give it a go. As mentioned, he's doing daily uploads now, so watch them religiously. You've got a new save, haven't you? Quickly talk about that. Go.
Quickly talk about that.
Yeah.
Save. Oh, what? Well, the recreative rejuvenation is the thing that's ongoing.
The messy thing that's going on. And the Super Copper thing.
The Super Copper, yeah. That's
tell us about
something
that.
I'm doing that. It's a little tournament.
Oh, great. Okay, so that's Matt's new thing he's doing.
Can I have the hosting duties back? I'm going to have to wrestle it off you.
Yeah, if you're right. I've just got a full fans tomorrow. I'm just practicing. So, fullfanshow.com.
You're plugging parts over.
Football podcast.
Right. They've probably switched off now.
Looking for something live? Twitch.tv/DoctorBenjy.
I'm just going to mute your section here.
Sorry, I'll stop now.
Oh, good.
Let's just do the test. Ellie, I'm doing a podcast. Thoughts? What? She said. Brilliant. Never mind. Just leave it. No, that's all right. You weren't prepared. I sprung it on you. We were just talking about you earlier. Well, I'll tell you exciting things that happened in Football Manager. You don't care. I thought I'd just bring it up now. Ask your thoughts. Podcast. Blank look. No case in the world.
That doesn't translate particularly well, does it?
No, it doesn't. But I can,
audio only.
You can picture it.
It's sort of like a dog sideways head.
Look,
I'd imagine.
I've got to imagine it. She's whispering, "You told me not to talk," which is amazing. You're right, I did. So you've lived up to that, Ellie Curtains. Maybe she'll be back on youtube.com/DoctorBenjy FM. Sorry, Matt. Go on.
Okay, so it's goodbye from me, and it's goodbye from Ben.
Goodbye.
Adios, folks. Thank you for listening.
We love with care from me, Dr. Benjy. Until next time, stay humble, stay handsome, and I'll see you again.
Oh, stay humble, stay handsome. I
Goodbye.
love that.
I know you did. I saw you comment.
Yeah. Ta-ta.